All right, well, we had a complete system failure there, and so now I've got everything turned back on, I think, and we'll see how this audio finally gets working again. I hope. All right, after a complete systems failure, I think we're back on. We're going to continue on the Greenway. Maybe not without so much noise and everything. The monitor's a little weak, but I think the camera's getting through again. You know, I never paid much attention to the fact that the Greenway is concrete here in this section. This is really before we get into the nicer areas, but I think it's pavement further down. And this is a little bumpy, so you know, I notice it because I'm live streaming. Behind a brick wall. That's probably not helping. And here's a transitional area where we get to cross the creek via that bridge right there, and henceforth we'll be on the west side of Aldridge Creek, as I am at this moment on the east side and literally facing east at the moment to Green Mountain. Didn't used to be no houses and stuff up there, but there are nowadays. Whoops. Whew. I don't know if that dropped out or if it finally just picked back up, or that I was being blocked by that wall right there. Got a signal now. I did check the actual battery on the GoPro. It was down to like 20% already. I don't know that it will make it on just the GoPro battery all the way down to Ditto, because we still got 5 miles, more or less. I don't go very fast, but I go pretty far, and 10 or 12 miles an hour is fine with me. I see some of those guys, they go hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles in a day. I don't know how they do it. But when I'm bike tripping, I like to enjoy the trip and not push so hard just to get from here to yonder. On the way back, I wasn't going to stream on the way back, but I might change the configurations to see if I can push my other connection to carry both. It's got a better plan on it, so we'll just have to wait and see on that. I guess the concrete is more durable. Than the pavement. They don't like to spend a whole lot of time and money on these kinds of things, I don't think. But it looks like we're going to transition to pavement here shortly. Voila! Pavement it is. That needs a new coat of pavement. It's pretty gnarly. I guess it's plenty good enough for walking and driving bikes on, but how you doing? Good. But it wouldn't hurt to have a fresh paving. I spend a lot of time out on the highway or out on the regular roads dodging these patches anyway. That can be dangerous too if you're on a road with a lot of vehicles, motorized vehicles. They let too many of them on the road anyway. But looks like I got a little better reception here. There should be cell towers on Green Mountain. More likely, if there's a problem, it's to the west rather than to the east. but it kind of just depends, I guess, on how it connects and whether or not my data plan will support it. I've seen a lot more people in this area. It's such a nice day, and we've had rainy, wet weather. Before that, cold weather. Get a nice day, 70, 75 degrees in March. No wind today. I had kind of planned to take this trip actually a couple of weeks ago, and was really just waiting to see how the weather would do. The timing could have shifted a little bit either way, but this was already in the schedule. And you couldn't ask for a better day. You get enough sunshine on a day like this to see the shadows of the trees, but it is a tad hazy, so it's not a burning sunshine. And I went back on the auxiliary power too. That thing might perform better if the battery is also ported. Just have to wait and see when we get the rest of the equipment. I've never seen a whole lot of people on this greenway, so I guess this is really more than I ever have seen. The latency is a little more on this than I thought it might be. The very beginning it seemed like it was almost like 20 seconds, but now it seems like it's maybe about 10 seconds. Or 30 seconds. my goodness. That was 30 or 40 seconds, I think. This young lady. Person. How are you? Bit of a hill, get up to nearly 15 miles an hour. 25 is about my limit, even on a hill. 30, 35, 40. I've gone that fast on a bicycle vehicle, but it makes me nervous, I'll grant you that. No, I guess that's the pedals. See, I'm hearing it after I'm way past it. Boy, that's making a lot of noise. Well, that's how a cool roadster is. Sounds like the training. All right. Now they're gonna make me go back on the other side, back to the east side of the creek. She's just sitting on the pebble by the creek. She needs a guitar or a fishing pole, or not. was going to say this is Jones Valley. I don't know if this is still a part of Jones Valley exactly. Jones Farm is further back north of me by a mile or two. But I like the pavement. It's nice and smooth. Bike rolls along easily, no bumps. Except every once in a while when it's not old and needing to be repaved. One funny thing about it, with that forward facing mic, it's picking up sounds that I don't even hear. Of course, I am using buds, but ever so often I get a funny noise there in the background that I was not aware of. Got a train up on the tracks today. You know you're getting close to Ditto Landing when there's a train, or there's a train tracks. I go under the trestle up here. It's generally been one of my favorite spots. You get there and you know you're almost there, and it's nice and scenic and everything. Just sitting there, it is. That sounds like the pedals, but the pedals aren't that loud when I'm not using buds. Oh well. I might better work on that shaft some. All right. And at this point, Aldridge Creek is a small river. It's almost as big as the Flint River. It used to be this trail went straight on through there, I think. But that was a long time ago. Nowadays, you got to leave the creek side and come back around this way. As a practical matter, this is Ditto Landing, but we'll be there to the river in just a couple minutes. That's some snaky looking area around here. To my left is Hobbs Island Road. I'm back on concrete here. Kind of bumpily. Okay, so this is sort of a practical confusion. The road is closed, the traffic park is closed. So I'm going to take the tour. I'm going to stop it. But I'm to the river and the landings and it's got enough. Stop. Go back home direction when the time comes. And there's the yacht club, or the Boatdocks. I don't know if they're really a club right there or not. This is all Ditto Landing Marina. Although there was a yacht that burned, geez, I forget the name of, used to belong to Charlton Heston, and it was about 8 or 10, 6, 8, 10, 12 years ago. And it was down here and caught fire and burned up. And of course, the infamous Titanic capsized down here. You see a lot of people fishing over here on the right. See the fella up ahead is parked and got a pole and the watering line. I've never tried to fish along in here. I tried to fish up at the Huntsville Marina one time. Didn't do any good there from the bank. But I think when you spend a lot of time fishing from a boat, you kind of get spoiled. Looks like the rowing club, Huntsville Marina Rowing and Water Sports, used to be the UAH Rowing Club had their equipment. I think it was up at the Huntsville Marina, but clearly somebody has theirs here. Doesn't exactly say. There's a nice shot of the boats. Those are large boats. Those are big enough to go out and get shipwrecked on Gilligan's Island. Not really that big though compared to some of them. And of course you might see the traffic to my right on the other side there. That's Highway 231 South. And of course Whitesburg Bridge. They had they demolished that Whitesburg Bridge a few years ago. I got some real good video of that. It's one of the first things I ever put on YouTube. And it did very well until I said I put it on YouTube. I put it somewhere and it did very well. Got thousands of views, and then things got reconfigured and I had to upload it again. Didn't do as well, but it's one of the best videos I've got. It's hard to imagine. That used to be the highway going south of Huntsville. There's this small bridge right in front of us. It is not roadworthy. Been a long time since that was the main thoroughfare. Now some of these guys, they get in these boats, they call them a bass boat. What they are is they're a small airplane. And they kick it, man. They can fly from one location to the next so fast and make your head spin, but I don't know. Yeah, so you can walk or ride your bike through here, but no vehicles on this bridge anymore. And there's the Whitesburg Bridge. There's something across the creek over there. Something on the other side of the river. I don't know what that is. This is a public recreation area. They rent that thing out and have different events there. And here we are, the Tennessee River. Right in front of me you can see the channel markers. This is a fairly narrow part of the river. Guntersville Dam is like 20 miles south of here, or that way. And over here is the Whitesburg Bridge. And I guess I've got traffic on both sides of that. I don't think there's any remnants of the old bridge when they destroyed it. That's why I have my video of it. All right, let's see here. go back around and take the levee. This is a good distant view of the dry docks they got over there. Anybody's interested, they probably don't have any extra space. They have a lot of demand, and something just blinked. I don't know what that was. I'll check that out when I get over to the levee. Looks like I'm still going here. I'm still hearing myself, so apparently I'm still streaming, so that's good. Let's see here. I'm going to try to pass through the campground rather than the parking lot, but let's see where this one goes. Maybe getting landlocked here, I'm not sure. Nope, just got to make a turn. One time, it flooded down here. I forget, that was like back in 2004 when the Great Flood happened, and you literally, I would be in 6 feet of water right here where I'm at back then. That was the most amazing flood since 1972 or 73, 71. There was a great flood way back then. That one covered the roads, half the road from here to Gunnersville on 431, and I'm sure 231, Hobbs Island, whatever else. But well, that's 15 miles, but I'm really not quite to my prescribed destination just yet. That's some of them guys. A lot of them like to wear the tutus and get the fancy bikes, but that's a little ostentatious for me. Got a guy going kayak fishing down here. That's pretty cool. They cool. They cool. They go a lot faster than I do. They'll get there sooner. I'm having more fun than that. Yeah, that's that argument. In Huntsville, you have the sport bicyclists that are generally speaking, they want to control the sail of how the bike paths throughout Huntsville go, and rules and regulations and all the bull. But my opinion is they don't have a very practical approach to bicycling. You know, if you want to ride a bike because you want to go to the store or to get to work, as a ipso facto, as a practical matter, all that's kind of not really practical as far as I'm concerned. But there's nothing wrong with that. But they can do that if they want to. As a practical matter, I don't get a tutu and all that. Our school. See, here's another view of the inlet into Ditto, into the marina area. Now, they did a lot of dredging out here too, so there was a natural inlet here, and years ago they literally just dredged it out, I think, to increase the size of the marina, practical use. All right, let's see. Pretty sure I'm on the right road here. To the levee. Bye bye, Miss American Pie. Oh hell. I'm gonna have oatmeal cakes today. I'm going to the levee. Let's see. Maybe the song is incorrect. Damn, it's wrong. This levee is wet. It ain't dry at all out here. And I get a even better, a more better view of the river. And as I said, an arrow point in the river. On the other side of the dam is Guntersville Lake. And Guntersville Lake is, I don't know, 10 times or 20 times. It's much, much, much wider. And it ain't a great lake, I don't guess, but definitely a more better view. People out here recreating, picnickers, exercisers. This is the, I forget what they call this area, is a landing, and it is not in use as a landing. I think, let's see, the water intakes may be here. Dive out here and see what we can see. I can see a fence. Now they got moorings for barges, the barge landing here. They don't use it for that anymore, apparently, but they have been known to throw parties down here, have dances and bands and stuff. I don't know if they're still doing that. They did it for several years, using that all the garage doors. I guess they opened it up. I don't even know. I never did come down here for that. Should have done it. But pretty cool place to do stuff like that. Ooh, that's some bump there. We're going to go on up to, I think this is Huntsville Marina is what they call it. It might be Madison County Boatdocks. I think they changed hands a time or two or something like that. The pavement here, the actual designated greenway, is fairly new, because a few years ago you would simply take the road along this section, and that was actually fine and good, because the road as well, it's actually blocked. Yeah, it's really for apparently for official use of the Ditto or the county or something, but no way it's not blocked. Okay, comes in from the other direction, but rarely actually get any traffic on this road. I don't think I've ever seen a vehicle, a motorized vehicle, drive down this road other than the ones who are involved in park maintenance. So anyway, I guess yeah, probably they put it in for the concerts back at that boat landing, that dock back there. That's why it's there in the first place. And that's pretty cool. Water intakes are indeed, let's see, maybe they're near here. Water intakes are down in this area somewhere along this greenway, but we've got like 5 or 6 6-foot pipes, it seems like. Well, maybe they're not that big. This looks like a water intake. It goes to the city of Huntsville. The city gets a lot of water from springs and wells, other than pulling it out of the river. Water's low today. Looks low, looks muddy. Didn't look muddy out on the main channel. This is not the main channel. That is an island to my right. Literally an island. A lot of times a point with a slough will be called an island, but it's not literally an island. This is literally an island. Hobbs Island. And let's see, if memory serves me well, I don't know if they used that when Andrew Jackson came across. It may be that it would have been a narrower path to get across it in 2 places, first one and then the other. So they may have actually used Hobbs Island to get across the river. They probably might have done so back then. There used to be landing, and the Indians had an arrangement of sorts. As I understand it, I haven't read much about that, hadn't seen too much about it, but apparently they had a means of getting across the river that was organized way back in the 1800s, 1700s. Lost my monitor again. I have to get home and see exactly what did what. I still think maybe this is probably the monitor that's the problem, not the camera connection, or at least I hope so, because then maybe you folks are still there in the background watching. Now, I used to make a trip all the way down there to that little door, but it definitely veers out to your right to the channel. it's pretty clear that it's kind of straight out to be as much. They don't got a boathouse around this little inlet on my left right here. Used to be, I don't know, there were probably houses down the other been torn out, and one or two is up there on the far end. Times they are changing, huh? There goes on. Folks will get boathouses, dry docks. A lot of folks like to go get them a cabin out on the main channel. Of course, that's a lot more expensive. A lot more fun. Used to be, this actually was in service, I think, before Ditto Landing. If you go back to the 60s and 50s and 40s like that, and this would be a just a little bait shop and a store right here. Doesn't even look like they open it now. Don't know. Got to pick up in an order. Maybe they get that going in the summertime. Selling hot dogs and whatever. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can sneak around this side over here. I guess this is the folks that run the place. Got a niggard out there. Doesn't look like anyone right now. See, I saw it on the other side. All right, well, let's see here. I hear some. Oh well. Background. I'm gonna go find me a picnic station. I'm gonna try to. That's a guy who's going fishing. He looks a tad like a trot liner. Looks like a mighty big engine for a trot liner, though. Mighty fancy truck for a trot liner. I remember down at the lake, I used to see the trot liner out in the front end of his boat. He had those specialized square boxes with hook, little grooves to hold the hooks, and you know they would use ivory soap. A lot of people don't realize that ivory soap floats. At least it used to. And line out and pull that hook up off the bottom, and that would be an enticement for the catfish. And a little thing dangling around right there. I can just hear somebody in the background now saying, "You mean to tell me they put a bar of soap on every hook?" You can probably figure that out. Cut it into squares. About a 1-inch square, 3/4 to 1-inch square. Use a little block of wood with a nail on either end. And roughly akin to a cheese cutter, basically. Put a piece of wire between those two nails, and that way it will slice the soap. Right. Now right here I'm getting just a tad breeze coming off the water. I can smell the water. And you see the south end of the island and the Whitesburg Bridge, main channel. They had a picnic table around in here. Maybe I'm not as far down as I thought. No, I'm not as far down. There's some picnic tables on it here. I just now noticed that they've actually got overhead lighting for this trail, this greenway. Typically they shut places like this down in the evening. Here's a look at those water intakes. Those are big pipes. They're bringing a lot of water right there. Of course, then they had to run it somewhere and treat it. Pickable. I'm going to take this next park bench on the right, and once I shut down, if you're there in the background watching, I'm going to take 30-45 minutes, and after that I'm probably going to go ahead and start it back up. I got to check on my battery and see exactly what I've got. That's a big reason for making the trip today, is see exactly what I'm using. But appreciate you watching, and come back and look again in another 35 or 45 minutes to see what it looks like going in the other direction.